Hi, BizHackers. In this video, I am going to show you guys how to use Facebook's split test feature. So let's begin. So what I'm going to do is create a brand new campaign, and the option to do a split test is elected at the campaign objective selection process. So when I come to the guided creation. So if you're prompted with a window like I just was, select guided creation. You guys can disregard this. All right. And the only one that it does not appear for as you can see is brand awareness, but most other objectives it appears for. So let's say I am creating a traffic campaign. And as you can see, I now have this create split test option, which I'm going to activate just by toggling that switch over to the right. Okay, so just quick refresh on what a split test is. A split test is when you are you are testing one variable in the campaign to see what generates the best results. So there are numerous variables that can be tested, and they can sort of be divided into some higher level, sort of broader categories. So if I wanted to, for example, test my audience, what that means is I'm going to show the same ad to two different audiences. So what those audiences are is completely up to you. Those audiences could be audiences that are based on two different sets of interests or behaviors, demographics. Maybe you are testing two separate age ranges. Maybe you are testing how genders engage with an ad. Perhaps you are testing similar interests and see which one generates more engagement. Or maybe you're testing different custom audiences that you saved or created and seeing which one generates more engagement or drives better results in your campaign. So when you choose audience as your testing variable, what that means is you have two different ad sets that are going to see the same ad, right? So there will be no overlap. Ad ad A, you have the two different audiences here. So nobody in ad A will fall under ad set B and vice versa. So Facebook is going to just completely split these two audiences in half and see which one drives more engagement. So that is the audience variable. Now, if you are testing the creative variable, then again, what that means is you are going to show two different versions of an ad to the same audience. And what you're testing here is, what creative works better in the ad. Now, when testing creative, remember you're only testing one variable, one element within the ad. So that could be an ad in which the photo in the ad is different, but every other variable in the ad is the same. Or maybe it means that the image is the same, but the ad messaging is different. So when I say ad messaging, I want to be very specific. So when I talk about ad messaging, you want to, again, test only one variable. So in terms of ad messaging, that could mean that the text up here will be different, but every other variable will be the same. So the headline will be the same. The call to action button will be the same. The only thing that'll be different between ads A and B is the messaging within the text up here. Or maybe you want to keep the same text, and what you want to test for is a different headline. So the only thing you would change in the ad is the headline. Or maybe what you want to test is the call to action button. So every other variable will be the same, but the only thing you would change is the call to action button. So the most important thing I want you to take away, if you decide to test creative, is that it can only be one variable. If the text and the headline is different on both ads, then we're not going to know which is the variable that drove the better engagement or that drove the better results. That's why it's so important to choose only one thing and see, so that way you know exactly what one thing drove better results. So keep that in mind. If not, what you're doing is not a true A/B test, and your data will just be very skewed, and again, you won't know what that one variable that drove better results was. All right. The last thing, the other option that you can test in your split test is your ad placement. So what that means is same audience, same ad. What's going to change, same ad creative, just to be super specific. What's going to change is the placement of that ad. So this is what you're going to want to do if what you want to test is, if a specific placement drives better results. So by default, they kind of leave it on automatic, but a pretty common test might be, I want to know whether my ad performs better on Facebook versus Instagram. So this would be the way you would do that. So I would deactivate all other placements, and I want to test Instagram feed versus Facebook feed. So for ad set A, the only thing I'm going to leave activated is the Instagram feed. And then for ad set B, the only thing I'm going to leave activated is the Facebook feed. So this would be an example of testing different ad placements. So if I were to move forward to this split test, then I would be testing Instagram feed versus Facebook feed placement and see which one of those ads drove better results. So another thing to also, another important thing to keep an eye on, or to take notice of when you're creating a split test, is for whatever reason, Facebook by default is always going to set some obscene budget over here. Just delete that. Enter whatever budget you plan on utilizing. So if I want to use a daily budget of $20 a day, for example, Facebook is going to split that in half so that one ad gets $10 and the second ad gets $10. So whatever you place here as your daily budget or as your overall lifetime budget, Facebook is going to split it in half between the two ad sets or the two ads, depending on what variable it is that you're testing. And again, you can change that here, even split. I would leave it at even split, just so that they each get the same amount of budget, and we'll get a better understanding of what was that drove better results. If we give one ad a higher budget, then just by virtue of having more reach because of the higher budget, you might get more engagement. So that may not be really true indication that it was that one variable that you were testing for that drove better results. So leave it at even split. Facebook recommends that you run an ad for at least 4 days to get to get sufficient data and for them to be able to make a to choose a winner in the A/B test. So you can choose from this drop menu here, or if you have specific dates in mind in which you want to run the test, then you can always choose that right over here, just by selecting the dates in the calendar. And then one interesting option that you can use is if you check this off right here, you tell Facebook to end the test early if a winning ad set is found. So if there is one version of the ad that just pulls away early on in the test because it just outperformed the other ad right out of the gate, then Facebook is going to end the A/B test early because it found a winner early. So it would not run it for 4 days. If by day 2 there's a clear winner, Facebook will stop the test after day 2. So that's what that means when you check this box off right over here. And then the rest of the process, you guys already know. The process is the same as creating an ad set or creating an ad. Nothing different to see there. So you guys are already familiar with that process, so I won't get into it. But that is essentially it, you guys. So, test away. A/B testing is such a critical part of any digital marketing campaign. Test, test often, test different variables, find out what combination of variables drive the best results. You're not limited to just testing one variable. Maybe you want to start off by testing the audience. Once you find out what audience is more interested in your ad, then test different versions of the ad on that audience. But test, and continue to test. It is such a crucial part. This will really allow you to learn about your audience and really hone in on what works. The more you know about your audience, the more you know about what works, the more effective your ad campaigns are going to be. And most importantly, the more you're going to save money as an advertiser. Because once you know what combinations really work, then the better your ads are going to perform. And it's just, and as a result, Facebook is going to reward you because Facebook's algorithm tends to push out ads or tends to push ads to the front of the line that drive more engagement and just more an overall better user experience and within Facebook. So test, and test some more, you guys. If you have any questions about split testing, A/B testing, reach out to your coaches or feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer any questions. But if not, then I am really looking forward to seeing your test results next Monday. All right, thanks, guys.